Hello, everybody. I know I'm fitting in where I can get in today. We did have quite a snowstorm last night, so we've had some power issues. And now that my power is back up, I do know that there's a couple of other channels that are live, but we're gonna squeeze in here and oh, rookie mistake. Sorry, guys. It's been one of those mornings already. So, well, we're going to jump right in it. This is going to be my 2 cents. And this is, of course, regarding the situation that took place with AWBJ and the most recent wellness check to her home, which was based off. Hi, Liberty Farmer. Thank you for coming in. I'm glad you could make it today. This was regarding the recent activities that ultimately are her responsibility because they are on her live streams. She is ultimately responsible for what she says, what she does, and what she allows in the background. And on more than one occasion, we've heard that, well, you just have to forgive him. He's had too much to drink, or I'm really tired. He's going through some things. Again, one excuse after another. But the fact of the matter is that when you are on a public platform and you are live streaming, there is a vast audience. It's not just the people that just subscribe to you. It's not just your members. It is anybody with an internet connection that can access YouTube will find your stream and listen to it. They may not know you. They may not know any of the history of you on the platform or what other issues you have going on with other creators. All they know is that they hear somebody falling asleep at the mic, or what it appears to be falling asleep at the mic, a gentleman in the background making comments such as "I'm going to turn you into Swiss cheese," or I'm I'm cocked and ready, things like this. To the average person stumbling upon something like this, they are going to be concerned. Do they have a right to be concerned? Is it any of their business? I ask this question. The person that's streaming, are you sober? Are you awake? Are you scrolling through your phone? Are you distracted? Because distractions can be deadly. Therefore, it is incumbent upon the populace, if you will, that if they see distracted types of behavior, to bring it to somebody's attention in one way or another. I've often said, if you see somebody falling out on the park bench or at a restaurant, a diner, you're going to go check on them. You're going to see if they're all right. You'll check for a medic alert bracelet. If you can't rouse them, perhaps you'll call for help. See, this is what society does. This is what human beings do. I question, is it any different when we're seeing these same type of things on the internet? If I'm walking down the street and I hear somebody in a drunken rant at, say, my neighbors, threatening to Swiss cheese another neighbor, I'm going to be concerned. If I see somebody who is intoxicated in my real life and has a loaded firearm and may appear to be using it irresponsibly, or is passed out with a loaded firearm propped up against the front door, I'm going to ask my neighbor, "Hey, what's this about? You've got some little ones in the house. Let's think about, what's some good firearm safety." See, because this is not specific to this one YouTuber. Anywhere where there's an unsecured loaded weapon, whether you're 89 years old, 9 years old, 3 years old, 13 years old, or 26 years old, accidents happen. Children are curious. Even if they have participated in hunter safety or gun safety, it's curiosity. And if there's other factors in the home or at a friend's house that are causing different stressors with the child, such as witnessing inappropriate behaviors, bullying at school, and I mean true bullying, not just the type of bullying that we hear about that is aggressive criticism, and that's in the adult realm. And as much as we'd like to think that we know our children, the fact of the matter is that they reach an age where they become a little bit secretive. They want to exert their independence. See, this is why children sneak out at night. Oh, my kid will never do that. Well, even the best child and in the best parent-child relationship, your teenager or your preteen is going to want to have privacy. And if that means they keep a few things from mom and dad, that's what they're going to do. This is all part of being a parent. And when you put your life on display, or a small portion, when you allow an audience to essentially look into your living room window and they see a mess, and I don't mean just a few things thrown on the floor, I mean literally what the parents are discussing. Um, they're hearing things, they're seeing things, and let's be honest, okay? As I said in my last stream, it's time to really hold a mirror up. Let's look at ourselves, and that includes those that live stream. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Quit acting as if you are. And quit using the criticism you receive on the internet as, well, none of this would be happening if the haters weren't listening in. This is distorted thinking, in my opinion. So we're going to jump into this, and I'm going to go ahead and share a couple of clips from Just Saying. I tried to go back in my back catalog of clips that I found concerning, and I was having a little bit of trouble with the audio, so I had to pull a couple of shorts from Queen's channel, and I think there may be one of Hartley's as well. We'll see as we go on. A couple of the clips, I'm going to give an audio warning right now that there is a bit of a tinny or an echo, and I did my best to clean that up. However, it is still there, so it's not your computer. I am aware of it, but when I was trying to boost the background discussion, it was an artifact. So it's there, but we're going to listen to a couple of things. I'm going to go over a couple of statistics, talk about a couple of stories, because even the most responsible child or the most responsible adult can have an accident. And why we're discussing this today, because while it may not be my personal business of what goes on in your home, you are allowing an audience to get a preview, a sneak peek. You are inviting them into what's going on by allowing all of this. So consequently, police were called to your home for a well-being check because of what was heard in the background. And it's come out, you've admitted, and I'm speaking directly about allegedly with BrittneyJ, admitted that yes, there were 2 unsecured, loaded, long rifles in view of the responding law enforcement. At this point, I don't care who you are. That is an issue because of you know what? How about if we just listen and look for ourselves, shall we? And I know there is some argument about the Second Amendment and with this. So what is the Second Amendment? It simply states that a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Absolutely. Absolutely. This was ratified on December 15th, 1791. It protects the right of Americans to possess weapons for the protection of themselves, their rights, and their property. Absolutely. With that freedom, with that right, comes some responsibility. And I absolutely agree, yes. Have 1, 2, 5, 20, or 500 firearms in your home to protect yourself and to protect your family. Absolutely. Absolutely. The reason we're having these issues is because of irresponsible ownership and distraction. So, what do I mean by that? And again, our usual disclaimer, this is not legal advice. We're just having a discussion. Being flippant about firearms, making light of carrying or having a loaded gun within reach is problematic due to the serious safety risks and the potential for normalizing dangerous behavior. Firearms essentially, when loaded, carry an inherent risk of accidental discharge, which can lead to severe injury or death. Consequences of injuries or death caused by discharges. Victims of accidental discharges may suffer severe wounds requiring surgery and long recovery periods. Unintentional firearm deaths. Fatalities caused by accidents often result in criminal charges for reckless endangerment or negligence. Property damage. A single shot can destroy valuables or even entire structures, creating high costs for repairs. Legal action. Victims or families can file lawsuits for compensation, holding the gun owner responsible. There's an emotional impact. Both victims and the persons responsible may face lasting guilt, stress, or trauma. Yes, Liberty Farmer, Just Saying does a very good job, a fair and balanced job when she clips. She makes sure to have the content, the context involved. And I really am appreciative of the fact that she does allow the sharing of her content and just, she puts it out there that, if you needed to emphasize something, you're more than welcome to do so. And I really appreciate that. Jokes and unsecured loaded weapons. It's the normalization of danger. Excuse me. Okay. It's the normalization of danger. Joking about a loaded weapon may desensitize people to the genuine dangers associated with gun ownership, potentially leading to complacency about safety protocols. Safety protocols. Responsible gun owners emphasize stringent safety measures, such as keeping firearms unloaded and secured unless actively needed for defense or use at the range. Constant jokes may undermine the importance of these safety rules. The psychological impact. Such comments can cause genuine distress or fear in others who may feel unsafe or intimidated by the presence of a weapon that is not being treated with due seriousness. And uh, and again, I bring this back to when you have somebody on a live stream being flippant and making light, and which we'll hear here in a moment, do something, I'm going to cap your ass. These, not everybody takes it as a joke, and it really shouldn't be treated as a joke when there's an audience. Say what you like in the privacy of your home with, your friends, if you must. But when you put it on display on the internet where anybody has access to it, you're going to run the risk of somebody being afraid for the person that's streaming the video, afraid for themselves, or just have general concerns. It is, I hate to say it is what it is, but that is the ramification when you allow so much to be put on the internet, again, to be criticized, because everybody has the right to criticize or to compliment what they find on the internet. Legal implications, depending on local laws and context. Casual talk about having a loaded firearm in certain public or private spaces could potentially lead to legal scrutiny or violations if it causes alarm or violates specific carry regulations. Liberty Farmer says, as a farmer, I have to keep a weapon ready for threats, but I build a hidden. Okay, I'm not going to. Okay, we're not going to put that up there. I'm not going to compromise your OPSEC there, sweetheart. Which can lead to true threats, intimidation, or harassment, which is the pattern of conduct that impedes on the rights of others. These are serious expressions of intent to commit violence that the speaker intended to place the victim in fear. So let's take a quick listen at some of the things that have been going on. One moment.
Oh my God! Did you show your gun on that live? Fuck.
You what?
You showed your gun on that live stream?
What you talking about?
They're telling me to get my kids out of the house now. You waved the gun on that live stream. They're calling the police, telling them you're drunk, waving the gun on live streams. Did you do that?
What you talking about, man?
Did you share a gun? Did you just show a
says, I also swear I heard Cletus say that they had trail cams at the courthouse when BHB was there. Until I find the video, I won't confirm 100%. Okay, I'm going for real now. Bye. Shady. Would you put it past them? Honestly.
So he's getting his ugly ass outside and bringing his bald head around, putting the trick camera.
Oh, no, they're talking about Bullhorn Betty when she had
No, I'm saying he's the one putting the cameras up, or you got Stu?
Oh, I don't know. Shady says she don't know if they would.
You want to catch a cat, though.
Would do that. I don't know if they would. She would do that.
Quiero que te encanta jugar al.
Yeah, I mean, that's some dumb crap. Just sit there and show up as putting cams out anywhere. I don't know. Shady.
The bad motherfuckers take them, and then we fucking hunt them down and get them. Take them to justice, take them to jail, or whatever the fuck. Back in the day, we hung these bastards. Now we sit here and fucking let them get away with it. And look how brave they are now. We need to go back to hanging the bitches, and they won't be so fucking brave then, will they? He's up there dressing up like Seth and shit. We see you, bitch. We see you clear as day. You know I'm talking about your ass too. Do something. I got a gun so big it'll fucking Swiss cheese your ass before the cop.
Craig, chill out. All right, that's enough for me, y'all. I'm gonna go. He's I don't even know. Like, damn. Stop. All right, y'all. I'm going. We will be doing cases tomorrow. Like, he's gonna fucking make me lose my channel. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. No, but you don't gotta go that far. That's ridiculous. All right, I love y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Got your name in there. He probably don't realize there's a man sitting in here fucking fully loaded, you dumbass.
I guess we could call her Skull Snitch.
So there's just a small sampling of what's been allowed to be said on the internet, on a live stream. And some people are going to find this concerning, and you can't deny that. Again, I don't advocate for calling CPS and law enforcement, but if this is what people are listening to, I understand why they're concerned. And it's times like that you really should take a moment and reflect, because you constantly are hearing, I'm going to get back to true crime. Things are going to get back on track. And that's not the case. So I am now of the opinion, after the last 24 hours, since this has all come out and the actual police report has come out, that perhaps these two individuals don't give a flying rat's ass. They want to be content, and so be it. Because you're bringing all this to the public for people to talk about it. It is your content. The constant back and forth is your content. This is my opinion. As a reasonable person, this is what I see. I see the framing of events, the framing of the narrative to make sure that you have just the right amount of condensation, and not not condensation, you're being just the right amount of condescending, while also pontificating and saying, I've got my free speech and I've got my 2A and I need to protect, and I'm going to do all this, but feeling that you have no responsibility in maintaining your right to expression and your right to speech. You can have all that, but you don't want any of the responsibility that goes with it. And that's manipulation. It's almost like it's manufacturing some drama. Before we get, okay, are there consequences? And it can happen to anybody. Is an accidental discharge of a firearm illegal? The illegal consequences of accidental discharge vary based on state and the circumstances. Criminal offenses most often occur when people act carelessly when handling a weapon. Charges could include negligent discharge, reckless discharge, or at worst, involuntary manslaughter. The penalties for an accidental discharge could also vary depending on the state and case, from fines to jail time. For example, negligent discharge consequences are usually less severe than those for other criminal charges. Even in cases without criminal charges, someone could file a civil lawsuit for property damage or bodily injury. So that's a little bit of the surface. Oh, thank you, Just Irish. I really appreciate that. And thank you for coming in. This is just a little bit of the surface. So back to the beginning where distraction can be deadly. All right. Again, no matter how much gun safety you have, no matter how much you feel that you're being responsible, an unsecured loaded firearm, and especially a long gun, you can trip, you can fall, kids can be horsing around. Oh, well, it's not where they can see it. It's not where they can get at it. Well, apparently, law enforcement saw them and they had to be moved to another area, to a bedroom. So that means that they were in a common area of the home and not the restroom, is my guess. And again, I'm going to make that mild assumption based on your own words and what's been in the report. Because even if it's not intentional, that's why it's called accidental discharge. Okay? And it, again, I'll give myself a moment because I'm trying to maintain my emotion. Because of my life experience, I've seen the damage of an accidental discharge. I've seen the aftermath, what it does to the victim, especially when they're a small child. And I mean a small child. What it's done to the parents, thinking they were doing everything right. But it only took a moment. And their lives and their child's lives are changed forever. And to see that you're almost making light of it, Brittany, it is distressing to some of us out here on the internet. So while you may not appreciate it, and while you may think we're haters or the dark side or Karens or nosy bitches, some of us still have a little bit of humanity and empathy left in us and know that accidents happen to the best of us. And this all boils down to distraction. It boils down to distraction. Refrain from drug and or alcohol use while or within reach of a loaded firearm. As we've seen, firearms and drug and alcohol use do not mix well. To minimize the likelihood of accidentally discharging your weapon and potentially injuring or killing someone, you should always remain sober when you have a loaded firearm on your person or within your reach or the reach of others. Do we need to go back to the pink gun display day? I think pretty much we've all seen it, and if you haven't, you can rewind or you can find the clip out there. So we're going to get into some facts and some statistics. Right, Just Irish. The report said nothing was unsafe minus the unsecured firearms. Correct. Correct. We're going to get into some statistics, but before I do that, we're going to take another trip down memory lane, and this is courtesy of Just Saying. And again, this all goes back down to distractions can be deadly. Bear with me one more moment, please. And we're starting in on this video compilation at 5:43.
At all. Killer Spirit Seeker, Cemetery 1 Road. And this is in Jackson, Tennessee.
Hey, that comes
Over this.
easy now,
Getting
huh?
some more stuff in. I think here. It's here.
Time of 3:59 happens after Koberger has left the neighborhood and before he returns for his last pass at 4:04. It is possible that the DoorDash driver saw Koberger as he was parking his car, because the timestamp of 3:59 could be reflected when he took the photo of the food at the front door instead of the time he arrived. Continuing, as the driver leaves, Zena turns off all the lights, sits on her bed, and scrolls on her phone as she eats her food. A few minutes later, Koberger enters the neighborhood for the last time, but this time, as he drives by the home, he appears to be calm and not overly anxious with his driving. As he heads back in the direction of the residence, he takes one last look at the windows to make sure all the lights are off. Fast forwarding a little bit, Koberger drives to the back parking lot away from other residences. He takes a few minutes looking around and sees that nobody's out and that all is quiet. He eventually grabs his things, gets out of the vehicle.
Not so sure about that. I think he was off at his phone call before then. If you go back and look at the time of, what was it, 8-something, 14. It's all in the documents.
Bless us.
And here's why. Brian Koberger returned to King Road, the scene of the crime, at about 9 o'clock in the morning. We all assume that it was because he left a knife sheath behind and he wanted to, those kids are dead yet. There's no cops there, there's no nothing. And he's skulking around outside. And he's talking to her for about 9 more minutes.
There were people there earlier.
In his time, and his parents were Eastern, and then also at night to almost talk him into going to sleep and being able to rest.
So, Jared, as I was looking at some of the text messages, I was so, I don't know, I was just jarred by the way he...
18. Hold on. All right. All right, hold on.
He's been texting with the guy about his plans. They're in love. Is nobody interested in learning more about this character? Okay, so Tyler's people are saying...
I haven't seen the interview. I mean,
Okay.
I was interviewed, but I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. But there is something that you said in the interview that was actually put into an article. Said something about there was
Probably. An alive and thriving baby, and this is what they get. I can't. This makes me so sick. I have no words. Okay. Hold on. What? All right.
Okay, that was just a sample. I would encourage anybody, if you've not already seen this video compilation or any of the compilations that Just Saying has put together, please do look at her channel for further context. And it's one of the better clip channels out there because context is inlaid with the excuse me, with the clips that she has. And Earth, thank you so much for sharing the links out. I appreciate it. And Iris, yes, you're very welcome to share or review this video or this stream Again, with anybody, the only thing I ask is just common courtesy to provide a link back to the original content, because I actually do put a lot of time and effort into putting these presentations together. So we're going to get back on track here. And so I don't think there's anybody that can witness what we just saw and not admit that that's distraction. That's a distracted parent. That's a distracted adult. An adult parent, a mom that's falling asleep mid-sentence for whatever reason. For whatever reason, that's not my concern, nor is it my business, so to speak. But what is being displayed on the screen throughout live streams is that there's a falling out. We know that there are youngsters in the home. So we have one parent, by their own admission, intoxicated at times, while the other parent is sleeping. That's, call me crazy, but that's almost a recipe for disaster. So when people are concerned about that, perhaps, again, hold the mirror up and reflect and not call them whores, bitches, hookers, heifers. Take a look at what you're allowing the world, or perhaps not the 7 billion people, but anybody with an internet connection that can access YouTube can look at these live streams. They're already out there, so going back and privating them or deleting them isn't going to change the fact that there are at least, if you look at the view numbers, at least on average between the so-called dark side, the green team, or the gray area, or the opinionated community, on average, there's at least 10,000 individuals that cycle through each of these communities to see this bullshit. So God forbid, some people might be a little bit alarmed. This isn't on them. This is a you thing at this point. And yes, I'm pissed. And yes, I'm angry. So we're going to get into a couple of statistics. I recommend anybody do the hashtag not an accident. Okay. And we're going to go over some graphs. They're going to be there for your information. But 10 years of preventable tragedies. Findings from the hashtag not an accident index of unintentional shootings by children. Every year, hundreds of children in the United States gain access to loaded guns that are unsecured in closets and nightstand drawers, in backpacks and purses, or just left out in the open. With tragic regularity, children pick up these unsecured guns and unintentionally shoot themselves or someone else. Everyone has a role to play in preventing these tragedies. So, Brittany, people more learned than myself, more learned or more observant than the internet, are even stating everyone has a role to play in preventing these tragedies. So, again, forgive people from the internet for wanting to make sure that a tragedy that, quite frankly, might be waiting to happen does not happen within your household. It's not wanting to take your children. It's not wanting to take your free speech. It's not wanting to put you in jail. There are people that have genuine concern because they've seen it or they've lived it. A child gains access to a loaded firearm and unintentionally shoots themselves or someone else nearly every day in the United States, an average of about 360 children a year. An analysis of more than 3,500 incidents that took place from 2015 to 2024, in which a child under the age of 18 unintentionally shot themselves or others, is included in the Not an Accident Index. It also reveals the following. The two age groups most likely to unintentionally shoot themselves or others are high schoolers aged 14 to 17, followed by preschoolers age 5 and younger. We're not pulling these numbers and these ideas out of thin air. This is documented information. 1 in every 3 unintentional shootings were preschoolers. Since 2015, the proportion of shootings by children 5 and under has increased, while shootings by high schoolers has declined. The victims of shootings by children are most often also children. Over 9 in 10 of those wounded or killed in unintentional shootings by children were also under the age of 18. When children unintentionally shoot another person, the victim is most often a sibling or a friend. In 2025, there were at least 221 unintentional shootings by children, resulting in 88 deaths and 140 injuries nationally. The red dots on the map of the United States are deaths. The blue dots are injuries, and this is showing the location. The source for this is everytownresearch.org/maps/not an accident. Although the incidents included in the Not an Accident Index are limited to those in which the shooter was 17 or younger, the victims in these unintentional shootings ranged from a 1-month-old baby boy to a 77-year-old man. When children shoot another person, the victims and survivors are often their own siblings, cousins, friends, parents, or grandparents. These shootings leave multiple families and their extended communities facing grief, regret, and years of physical, emotional, and sometimes legal and financial consequences. Here are some charts that you can look at. Download, screen capture. Did you know that roughly a third of U.S. homes with children have guns? In fact, an estimated 4.6 million kids live with unlocked, loaded guns. That's a scary statistic when you think about the fact that even young toddlers are capable of finding unlocked guns in the home, and they are strong enough to pull the trigger. This is courtesy of healthychildren.org. Parents arrested after gun in third grader's backpack goes off in the classroom. 2 parents were arrested after their 3rd grade child picked up an unsecured handgun at home, took it to school, and it went off by accident inside his backpack in a classroom in Spotsylvania County, Virginia. The child found the handgun at home and put it in his backpack, the sheriff's office said. At some point, while in the classroom, the child reached into his backpack to retrieve something and inadvertently pulled the trigger on the gun. This is NBCWashington.com. Links will be provided for all these stories at the end of the presentation. Children shot in South Carolina home. Newberry, South Carolina, a mother and father were arrested after 2 young children were shot after finding a loaded gun in a Newberry, South Carolina home. Newberry County dispatchers were called around 6:35 p.m. on Sunday, November 23rd, about a child who had been shot and another possibly hurt. Sheriff Lee Foster called the shooting scene chaotic and reported 2 other children were in the home, a 7-year-old and a 4-month-old. Deputies reported the children found an unsecured loaded gun in the home. The children's mother, Tyresa Cunningham, and the father of one of the injured children, Tyleek Sanders, were both home at the time. Cunningham said she was cleaning the house, and Sanders reported that he was in the shower. Both parents were charged with unlawful neglect toward a child, while Sanders was also given an obstruction of justice charge because he got rid of the gun. This is distracted parents for one reason or another. Bucks County dad spared jail in gun accident. Bucks County judge has sentenced a Middleton man to house arrest after his 4-year-old daughter injured her eye with an unsecured high-powered pellet rifle. David Rose Jr., 29, faced a potential state prison sentence of up to 10 years each on 2 felony charges for the March 2nd shooting at the family's home. Court documents did not mention if the girl lost her eye in the accident, and it did not come up on Monday at the sentencing hearing before Bucks County Common Pleas Judge Jeffrey Finley. The bullet trajectory was downward and lodged near the girl's spinal cord, authorities noted. Also, the rifle appeared to be taller than the child, making Rose's account of what happened unbelievable. Rose changed his story several times about how his daughter was shot. Courtesy of the PhillyBurbs.com. North Carolina, a 4-year-old boy has serious injuries after accidentally shooting himself. November 18, 2025. A 4-year-old boy has serious injuries after accidentally shooting himself Monday morning. The 4-year-old injured this month in Durham was while handling an unsecured gun, police said. Officers responded to the shooting. A preliminary investigation indicates the child accidentally shot himself with an unsecured firearm. Unintentional shootings involving children in North Carolina had 108 unintentional shootings by children from 2015 to 2023, according to Everytown for Gun Safety, a gun violence prevention group. See, this isn't just going after someone on the internet for their behavior or what they allow to see. This is what happens in the real world. Here are some links for you. I want to share something with you today. A toddler in Phoenix accidentally shot himself while his father was distracted watching online videos. Phoenix police responded around 10 p.m. on July 9th to a report of a child who had been shot. Officers arrived and found the parent holding the 2-year-old boy with a gunshot wound to his upper left arm and a broken humerus. The parent told officers that he had set the firearm on the couch intending to clean it, but he got distracted while watching online videos on his computer. I'm going to drop the link to this. Just a moment. There you go. So, it's not outrage for outrage's sake. At this point, It should be genuine concern. I've not done this to go at someone. I've not done this to laugh or to point fingers. I'm genuinely concerned about the behavior and the activity that I see coming from this channel. Is it any of my business? In the microcosm, no. But, however, in similar circumstances, the potential for things that could go wrong becomes everybody's business because it impacts communities, families, and drives a national conversation. So this has been my 2 cents. I thank you guys for being here. And I hope you found some of this information beneficial. And again, it's not to point fingers, but just to make you aware, distractions can be deadly. Are you sober? Are you awake? And are you scrolling on your phone? Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you out here.